Hey, John, good morning at where you are. How's it going for you?
Very well. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Thank you, John. Thank you so much. I'm sure our audience would love it. And I was really inspired by your story. And when I spoke to you a couple of weeks back of how you have transitioned from what you were doing before today and what you're doing today, so it's really great. And we're looking forward for this conversation. And before we start, I would like to talk about the topic today, which is efficiency unleashed, and we'll talk a little about your introduction and then go on with some of an amazing conversation that we're going to have today, right? So my
Absolutely.
friends, the audience today, John has been into, he's actually the director of operations and integration at Velox. Velox is a strategic medtech partner reducing time, cost, and risk for innovators. Actually, John's background is quite interesting. He was an organization leader, and before Velex, he spent about 9 years as a Navy officer at the Coast Guard across various law enforcement and intelligence mission. So, from that to the corporate world, John, how did that happen? Would love to know a little about that to begin with.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for the kind introduction, and I'd be happy to get into that. So, I had a wonderful career in the U.S. Coast Guard. Saw a lot of the world, traveled everywhere, spent a lot of time at sea, but I felt like I was ready to make a transition to doing something more transformative and have my impact where I could be more innovative. And so I really landed in med tech because I saw there was this unique opportunity to improve the
Hmm.
quality of healthcare and really continue to impact lives, which I'm passionate about, but at a global scale, worldwide. MedTech innovation was particularly interesting to me because we're creating treatments that were never thought possible years before. And with Velox, I feel like we are enabling companies to make their medtech dreams come true through speed and scale and helping them get to the market faster.
Very well, very well. And how's been the journey so far? It's been how much time you made the transition, and how does it look today? And what is it? How does it look maybe in 2 or 3 years down the line today?
Yeah, absolutely. I made my transition to this company about 8 months ago, and so I'm just shy of a
Hmm.
year. It's been an incredibly rewarding journey. I'm very passionate about our offerings and what we bring to the market. Today, Velox is truly a startup. We provide unique services to the market, and we're really targeting a very wide array of customers, all the way from entrepreneurs and startup companies like ourselves to the large multinational corporations. We are very excited to continue to grow and scale quite rapidly over the next few years so that we continue to serve as many partners and companies as we can.
Lovely, lovely. I mean, that's a great story to tell. As you grow and increase your size of operations as well. So, John, I remember, we were having a candid conversation a few weeks back of how much culture is important when startups are growing, and what part strategic thinking and strategy execution plays in that culture. You want to talk a little about that, and what are your thoughts around that?
Absolutely. We've really built our culture on two foundational items. One is values. We hold our values very strongly, and of utmost importance is integrity through everything. And so we've really put together a team that cherishes those values, and we really act out those in our interactions with each others and also externally with our clients and with our partners. But beyond that, we've really built a culture of performance. And I know that's something that you and I both share as a passion, where we can really optimize performance within an organization. And
Right.
so, if everyone is in the right seat, driving toward the mission and the same goal, then we feel like magic can really happen.
Wow, that's a great thought, right? So two cues I'm going to take from what you just said about performance and alignment. If people are aligned, then magic can happen, right? So usually there is a lot of fear in performance. The word performance gets your guards up, and it seems like somebody's now gonna review you all the time, and just there is no joy in that. However, the company that I am building right now, that is Job, or Joy of Performing, we talk about joy. So, what has your experience been? Using the values that you have and the way that you are thinking about strategy, execution, and performance. Where do you see joy coming in, and how do you see joy coming in?
I think for us, we take a step back every day. We realize that the work we're doing on a daily basis is actually impacting real human lives at the other end of the market and at the end of the product life cycle. And so there's some joy just there innate in that process where we know that we're going to make an impact in someone else's lives, and the end user and the wearer of one of these medical devices we're helping to get to market, that it'll really make an impact. But the second thing is we've really tried to distill down what performance means in our organizations through the unique use of OKRs, or outcomes and key results, where we give everyone in the organization just a couple key objectives, one or two, maybe three sometimes, where that's really their core focus. We found that if we can really simplify what people are focusing on, it's much easier to achieve and perform at the level of expectation than when you're too scattered and too spread thin.
No, that's great, and I think, of course, just to add on to what you said, joy also comes when, as a team, you're looking at the same goals, right? And you see every day you getting closer to those goals, and that actually makes an impact in the whole culture of the organization as
Mm.
well. And I think the whole objective and key result framework allows you to do that very well, because there are certain priorities that as a team you choose, and when you go and work on that with priority, you kind of see the movement in your goals, and that brings a lot of joy.
I couldn't agree more. Very well said.
Yeah. And now coming back to the alignment part. So how important do you think that is? And do you see that in a small team like you are today as a startup? Do you think that even a framework like OKRs makes sense for such a small team to get alignment in the team as well, or it's just for enterprises, corporates, big organizations only?
Yeah, I think the beauty of OKRs is they're truly scalable. And I think it's unique to start early on in such a small organization where everyone can be truly aligned with the mission, with the vision, with the values. When you don't have too many people, um, it's easier to be on the same page, really buy in, meet together in person, and talk about these things that are meaningful to the organization. And it's easier to hold people accountable. I think people want to perform and do the best they can every day when they come to work. And so when their objectives are directly aligned with the company objectives and those of their peers to their left and to their right, I think you can see the bigger picture, how we're all working together and moving in the same direction. And I think that's very motivational in and of itself.
No, that's beautiful, and I'm glad you bring that up. That it's not just top down, so it's not just vertical alignment. It is actually horizontal alignment as well, because we all know business does not run in a silo. So a sales team doing great would not do anything to the business if you're not able to deliver it, and if you're not able to have a great customer success team which is really providing the best service to your customers. So I think that horizontal alignment is so useful and beautiful, that if done, it can create magic as well. So thanks for bringing that
Yeah.
up.
And I'll just add one more item to that. Going
Sure.
back to our company values, transparency is a big part of who we are, how we interact internally and externally. And so we really drive a transparent culture with our OKRs as well. So we have company OKRs, objectives. Our CEO has his own set of objectives, and each of the other members of the team have some. And so we openly share what each of those objectives are with the entire company, so everyone can see what each and every member is contributing, what their focus is, and how they directly align.
Yeah, and what I've seen, John, is it drives accountability just because everyone is very transparent of what they need to go for and how they need to be a part of the system, right? Also, it kind of creates a lot of trust in people because now, when you see the problem in the open, you don't tend to go after the people, but you tend to go after the problem, and your all creative energies go actually how to solve that problem rather than pointing at people, right? So I think that culture change happens so beautifully. And a wise man once said that either you create a culture of your organization, or sometimes it will get created automatically. And when it gets created automatically and you don't create it, you have no control of what it is. And then the change management of creating that culture all over again is a very, very difficult and painstakingly task. So yeah, I just want to kind of add a couple of pointers to that.
Definitely.
Great. So John, with that, can you also see that with your experience when you were in the Coast Guard, and today you're managing operations at a corporate? Do you see that? What was the experience that you bring in, and how is it helping in your operations today?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So I'd say, as I mentioned earlier, I joined the Coast Guard because I had a real focus on impacting and saving lives. And I had the privilege to be a part of search and rescue missions where in our life, minutes and seconds were what counted. A distress call would come in, and we had to act quickly to go out and rescue those in need. In this transition I've done now to medtech and medtech innovation, we're not working in the metrics of minutes and seconds, but we're looking in percentages of optimization. And so for Velox, we feel that when we're working with a partner that's trying to develop a medical device that's going to make an impact in the lives of those patients out in the market, we're looking at the fact that really no improvement and no optimization is too small, but there's this sense that every bit counts. And so we want to help take these devices to the next level, and bring them to those who need them faster.
Lovely. So I think that energy that you bring in with your focus is also helping in the same medtech, the corporate world that you are running in today. Got it. And as a startup, there is always a balance one needs to create with the business as usual, or your KRAs, if I may say so, and then the stretch goals or your OKRs, because business is something which needs both of them together. So how
Mhm.
do you create that balance today in your company, and how does OKR help taking risk in the organization as well?
So we do value a bit of risk taking. We think that in order to reach those stretch goals, you need to think outside the box and be willing to go where we haven't been before. And so there's some inherent risk with that. And so we really encourage our workforce to think creatively, push the boundaries, and see what we can do that we haven't tried before. Um, One way we're really trying to push that envelope is really leaning into AI development. We see this in other sectors. And
Right.
so we're looking at, as we really value efficiency and optimization, we're looking at ways to bring artificial intelligence in a way that ensures health, privacy, and data protection is still at the utmost of our focus, but driving those large language models to help better improve our processes and the end products and services we offer to our clients. But again, it just a bigger picture. We really encourage all of our workforce to continue to think creatively, um, and really serve the needs of the clients as best we can, not in a rote or a traditional way as we've always done these things the way we've done them, but understanding their needs and adapting, um, in the best way possible.
No, very well. And I think, as AI today, I mean, you can think of it as a disruptor, or you can actually make use of it and really enable your internal operations as well as some of the products that you can create, which can enable your customers as well. So I think it also comes from that mindset of being open to change and taking that risk, right? So I can already see that how that culture in your organization is fine to take that risk and yeah, and take AI as it comes and really make the change that it is bringing into the medtech sector as well and into your company too. So
Yes.
so great. In terms of how AI is disrupting, do you see that AI can be used in unleashing the efficiencies? Our topic today. Do you? What are your thoughts on that? Do you see that it can help in increasing efficiencies? And in your day-to-day life, how are you using AI, or your teams are using AI to bring in the efficiencies today?
So I would say we use AI on a daily basis, and it is a huge time saver. It really brings what we call leverage on our time. There's an expression that says AI is not going to replace your job in the future. The person using AI will replace you in the future. And so it
Very
gets at that
interesting.
sense that it's really a partner. It's not something to fear, but it's something to use. It's a new tool on the market that can really drive optimization and efficiency. And so there's so many applications. One is using large language models to really dig into a lot of past data and work we've done to really use it as a knowledge base to educate us and to refresh our memory on past work and past devices and how we can use that information to learn and adapt as we're bringing fresh perspectives now. And so being able to pull that data out in a matter of seconds, straight to our fingertips to be able to flip through is incredibly time saving than an older system of filing through and rifling through documents to find what we did years past.
Very well. So I'm so happy that the whole culture in your organization is embracing AI the way it should be and not running away from it. So let's get into a little more details about, your company has some subsidiaries that you were talking to me about in a couple of weeks back, and it was very interesting of how they come together to help your customers succeed. So you want to talk a little about that to our audience, please?
Absolutely. So Velox is really a platform where we
Right.
are serving everyone from entrepreneurs and startups to multinational med tech companies, where we come in as a professional services partner to really provide med tech consulting and direction, all the way from initial design and engineering to commercialization. And so we started our journey acquiring two subsidiaries, and their focus is on medtech market research as well as participant recruitment for human factor studies and usability. And so as we continue to build out our Velox platform, we feel that really the core of our offering is within medtech market research. That research can really inform everything upstream and downstream for designing the ideal product that really gets to uh, addressing the true needs in the market, really understanding the needs of the patients and the wearers and the healthcare providers who might be interfacing or even inserting this device in patients. And so through
Very well.
research, yeah, we can really understand that whole life cycle.
No, that's great. And tell me something about, as you go and acquire organizations, the values that you have and the culture that you have created at Velox, how easy or difficult is it to kind of take those values in those organizations and with those people which were not a part of Velox earlier? And do you think a framework like OKR helps in that in some way.
Absolutely. I do. I think OKRs have been key for us in driving the same values and the same culture as we've merged two entities into one. And it gets back to that idea of just really distilling down where the company is headed and what few key objectives we can identify to where we all rally together to drive toward those. And so OKRs are our principal vehicle for doing that.
Yeah, it's said that if you want followers, tell them what to do. But if you want leaders, just tell them where you are going, and they'll
Mm,
figure a way out. So I think that's what you're doing, and it's a beautiful way to build an organization and create that culture where people have the freedom, yet they are accountable for what they choose to do. So I think that's beautiful, isn't it?
definitely.
Great, John. So I think it brings us to the closure of our podcast today. Would love to hear any parting thoughts, anything that you think our audience can get help with. From anything you want to talk about, which is about unleashing efficiency, strategy execution, OKRs, and creating that culture of accountability and alignment.
So I think I will leave you with this thought. What I was really taught and ingrained in me in the military and in my US Coast Guard service is in order to execute the mission, you need to really understand the mission and know where you're headed.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so for us, when we started this journey, we really gave a lot of thought to what is the mission and the goals and objectives of the company, and first communicating that to the rest of the team. And I know we've talked a lot about that today, but if you really take the time at the outset to cast the vision and make clear the simple goals, and you stick to the core values of the business, then the rest sort of falls in line. The performance comes if people are bought into that vision, and we can all drive toward that common goal. And so that's what we work on every day. And there's value in that. And really, I think on the other end, it drives value creation for our clients.
No, I think John, that is again very well said, because a lot of times, managers, leaders today get into execution very fast, because that's how we think about work and business, right? Task, projects, we want to get everything done very fast. However, taking that one step back and really understanding that the execution we are doing, is it really meaningful? Is it really moving the needle on things that we are supposed to get close to our in our business? Is that the
Hmm.
objective that we want to get to also, or not? And at the outcome of it, are we really measuring the outcome for the business, or just output on task? So I think there is a lot of beautiful message which you spoke about, and I'm sure our listeners would get a lot of insight from that. So John, if our audience wants to get through you, and what is the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. You'd be more than welcome to reach out to me via LinkedIn or directly through our website at veloxoperations.com.
Hey, thank you so much, John. And I'm sure, we'll be in touch, and maybe we'll call you back in a couple of maybe years and see how the transition has been from a startup to a big organization then, and how was your learning at that point of time. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.